This is a is this a is this a shy crowd? Ayan, meron si Zach. Guide. This is a financial advisor. We have a guide. Good evening to you too. 970. Okay. Right. So what do you think? What do you guys think when you hear the word financial advisor? Ayan, mentor. From Princess Tolentino. Ayan. So from Zach, it's guide. From Princess, it's mentor. Okay. So if we go to the next slide. There. Okay. So why do we need a financial advisor? Okay. In our lifetime, there are a lot of uncertainties that we might face. Kaya nga sa life, there is a big if in the middle. A lot of things can happen throughout your entire lifetime. And these things or these uncertainties fall in three major categories. So ano ba yung three major categories na to? One would be dying too soon. So for those of you here who are breadwinners, kindly type in B in the chat box. So who here are breadwinners? Type nyo naman B. Letter B as in boy, as in breadwinner in the chat box, right? Okay. So yeah, I see here si Best Segala, Andrea Besmanos, and Zach. Right? Si Othello also. It's a breadwinner. And even Madel. So we have a few breadwinners in the audience. So if dying too soon is one of life's big if or uncertainties, syempre, yung isipin natin, what happens after death, di ba? So for us, for the ones who will pass away, it may be a part of their life, but then for those who will be left behind, how will they survive? Or can you just imagine how will they live at the level that they were living before, di ba? So the second uncertainty would be living too long. Okay, breadwinner for myself, Court Gazak. Okay, so the second uncertainty would be living too long. Okay, so as part of the millennial, na malapit na sa Gen Z, Gen Zs have this notion na, is it possible really to live up to 50s or 60s when it's a slowly deteriorating earth? I've been hearing that during my client meetings, and I told them, okay, sige, let's say that you have a goal for the next 3 to 5 years, and let's say that this is your retirement age, for example. What happens after the time that you have exhausted yung active income mo, right? So sa Philippines, the mandate is for us to retire at 65, di ba, sa labor law, right? So after 65, people would most likely have a hard time finding a job to sustain their lifestyle, di ba? So anong mangyayari if you live up to 70 or 85 or up to 100? So that's probably like 30 years without an active income, right? So where will you pay for the expenses that you'll be needing during that time? And, di ba, yung naiisip natin is we've worked for like 40 years of our lives. So that's majority of our lives. Kasi 65, tapos some of us started working at 20, right? So if you've already worked for like 40 years or majority of your lifetime, wouldn't you want to enjoy it naman, right? And would you really want to retire at 65 or probably sometime earlier, diba? So ako, personally, I want to retire at age like 40 or 45, right? So I can enjoy it while I'm still at the peak of my health. And the third would be sickness and disability. For the young professionals here who are still trying to build their savings and investments for the future. So according to studies, it will take 18 years for someone in the socioeconomic class to move up a level. So yung mga nasa may socioeconomic class C, it will take them 18 years, approximately 18 years to move up to socioeconomic class B, right? The working class. So if you're really gonna think about it, isang hospitalization class lang, sabi sa study, can move you back from where you originally were. Diba? Ganun katindi yung sa sickness and disability if that happens, right? So people might start selling their assets or even worse, put them in below zero in terms of their assets, and they start borrowing money from other people or from banks also, right? So if you go to the next page, okay, throughout our lifetime, maraming meron tayong maraming uncertainties. Pero, ito talaga yung certain. Diba? Yung two certain things daw in life is death and taxes, right? So every single year, yung cost of goods, it's actually affected by inflation. And last year, I did my research, the inflation was at 3.6%. So ibig sabihin, yung 100 pesos that you worked hard for today, yung mabibili niya next year would be 3 pesos less. So kailangan mo ulit trabahuin yung 3 pesos na yun from your active income for it to actually be at the level na mapapambili mo ng mga mabibili mo sa 100 pesos today. Right? Does that make sense? Right? So that's basically inflation. And it's not just the cost of goods and services that is on the rise, it's also the education and healthcare funding. So in the study, in 2020, the healthcare cost in the Philippines was projected to grow at 10.1%. So can you just imagine yung healthcare cost natin, and during the time that we need it, right? And everyone suddenly became aware of it during the time of the pandemic, di ba? So hindi na lang siya sumasabay sa inflation. It's actually way, way, way more. It's actually growing at a speed that's way more than the inflation, right? So if we go to the next slide, and that, my friends, is why in the Philippines, we still need a financial advisor, because the life insurance penetration to address these needs, the major uncertainties, the living too long, dying too soon, getting sick or disabled, and the cost of inflation, these things that we usually see or we usually experience on a day-to-day basis, according to study, apparently only 1.63% of Filipinos are insured from these four things that I've discussed earlier. So imagine niyo, out of 111 million Filipinos, only around 1 million Filipinos are insured from the rising healthcare cost, which is now at 10.8%, from the cost of inflation, and from the three life's uncertainties. So if we go to the next slide, so that's our job, and that's the mission actually that we push for as financial advisors, right? Because we want we bring ourselves up by pulling people up also, and that's by addressing the common reasons why people fail in their finances. So the first would be, syempre, we are an advocate of financial literacy. A lot of people would actually want to take the proactive step to address their finances. Yun nga lang, wala silang financial education, or hindi nila fully na understand what's happening or what they can do to their finances. Diba? When you say na you're going to the doctor, it's because of your health issues. Now, when you say you're going to a financial advisor, it's also for your financial health, diba? Kasi for us, going to a financial advisor doesn't mean naman na hindi na kukuha ka agad ng plans or policy. It's more for your benefit actually, to check if you're still in a good financial health standing. So the next would be, we're here to help you implement your plans. Kasi sabi nga nila, 'di ba, if you have a dream but you don't have like a deadline for it, you don't have like a solid structure or systems to work with, your dream would not translate into goals. It would always be just dreams. Okay? So we're here to make sure that throughout your lifetime, your hard-earned money will work for you, right? So that you don't have to work your entire life for money and be a slave to it. And you can dedicate your time, your effort for your family, for the things that matter, right? And syempre, the last one of the reasons why people fail in their finances is because they lack an accountability partner, a coach, a guide, or a mentor in the form of a financial advisor. And actually, mapapatunayan to ng next speaker natin. So the next speaker was actually my financial advisor when I was starting out at 21. So if we go to the next slide, right? So please give a warm round of applause for the next speaker. And he has been the 9-time MD of RT, and he is also my mentor, and he has been securing the lives of hundreds of Filipinos and hundreds of his clients since he joined the business, right? So without further ado, please give a warm round of applause to Neil Andrew Llorente.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good
Hi, Neil.
morning. Hello, Dianne. Hello, Zach. Thank you for this invitation and this privilege to share my experiences as an AIA Philippines financial advisor for 9 years. Like many of you here sa audience, I also attended similar sessions katulad ng the one we're having now, and I used to organize these events as a former Film Life employee. But more of that later. No, ayoko i-spoil yung kwento. So let's get started. I'm 32 years old. I was born to and raised in a family of 5 in Iloilo City. My parents provided more than enough for us to live comfortably. Perhaps yung pinaka-struggle ko talaga growing up was being a middle child. So as a middle child, I felt that my parents, they were paying more attention to my older sister and to my younger brother. So sabi ko sa sarili ko, I really have to do well in school para they'll also take notice of me. And dahil sa pagka-KSP ko, I was able to graduate cum laude from the Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in legal management. Upon graduating from the Ateneo, I was invited to be part of the Film Life Management Associate Program, no, wherein umikot kami sa iba't ibang departamento ng Film Life, no, marketing, actuarial, investments, film properties, branch operations, bank assurance, no, and sales. Na-assign ako sa sales eventually. But before that, we did special projects for each of the divisions, no, that I mentioned kanina. And every assignment, meron kaming 3-week na special projects for each of those divisions. After 1 year, na-assign ako permanently sa sales as an agency development officer. So I functioned as a liaison officer ng Film Life sa agency force. So responsibilidad ko before, to communicate company directions, mga strategies, and campaigns to the advisors and leaders sa sector ko, and to ensure that they are able to grow their businesses, hit their personal targets and goals, and qualify sa mga many incentives and many incentive trips na meron si Film Life, no, for all of these advisors. During my stint as an agency development officer or as a liaison officer, na-inspire ako sa lives being led by the successful advisors and leaders sa sector ko. And I was in fact invited by my mentor, now my unit manager, to explore yung insurance business as an advisor. Sabi ko, I'll think about it, I'll pray over it, I'll discern first kasi I enjoyed doing what I was doing back then kahit nasa corporate ako. God's answer came earlier than expected in the form of an incentive trip to Hyderabad, India. It was the usual practice before na pag maraming nag-qualify sa sector na we were handling, we were the ones tasked to accompany yung mga advisors sa trip incentives na to. And it so happened na hindi pa ako nakapunta sa Hyderabad, India. And there was this trip incentive there. And gustong-gusto ko talaga sumama. Fortunately, maraming nag-qualify sa sector that I was handling. And dahil feelingero ako, inisip ko na ako yung ipapadala ni Film Life sa trip na yon. Fortunately or unfortunately, Film Life decided to send someone more senior than I was, no, a more senior employee kaysa sa akin. And doon ako napaisip na baka ito na yung sign ni God, na baka better na ako na lang mag-qualify sa mga trips na to on my own without having to wait for management's approval. So the following day, I decided to file my resignation and I became a full-time financial advisor. No, it was a giant leap of faith for me, and it was a spur of the moment decision, and it wasn't a walk in the park. No, however, hindi ko siya ni-regret yung decision na yun, even if I encountered several challenges. So the first challenge was my parents disapproved. Sabi nila, if I'm going to be a financial advisor, I might as well just go back to Iloilo for business or start start a different career. No, they belong to the generation na grew up thinking that being a financial advisor is not the most prestigious of jobs. No, they look back sa mga days or sa mga araw na some random stranger would just come knocking on people's doors selling insurance, di ba? Kasi ganun yung misconception of insurance advisors in the past. I also had no prior sales experience. Yes, assigned ako sa sales as a liaison officer, but I never had a one-on-one meeting with a client before. So this was a new ball game for me. No, new field talaga siya. I viewed my young age as a disadvantage as well. I started when I was 23 years old, and I asked myself, why would people na mas matanda sa akin, mas experienced sa akin, why would they listen to me for financial advice? I was also an introvert, so personality-wise, I wasn't really cut out for a sales profession. Hindi ako yung type of person who would really go out of my way to make friends with strangers. No? And of course, there was the challenge sa time management. Ngayon na nag-transition ako from someone na nasa corporate with a fixed work time na sometimes 8 to 7, 8 to 8 p.m., 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Ngayon, meron na akong full control over my time. But it's a double-edged sword, no? There were several, laging may temptation to procrastinate, to do petics din. And of course, pride and ego, isa rin siya sa mga, is two of the things, no, that you have to surmount when you are in this business and in this industry. When I started my insurance business in 2013, marami pa yung hindi ganun ka-open sa idea of talking to a financial advisor way back in 2013. There was still that stigma of being a salesperson, especially among my peers, no, who also graduated top of our class sa Ateneo. And being an advisor, hindi talaga siya dream job, di ba? Hindi siya iniisip ng mga tao na dream job. No? And of course, there was the temptation to pursue other options. I always had that option to go back to corporate kasi as a management associate, we were being groomed for key management positions later on. So meron kaming career development track ahead of us. So pwede talaga akong bumalik sa PhilAm as an employee. I was also a US permanent resident. So meron akong option to go to the US and pursue job opportunities there. And of course, meron akong option to go back to Iloilo for business. But one by one, I was able to surmount each of these challenges. No, first, ang ginawa ko, I hit the ground running. Right after I filed my resignation and right after I was decided to pursue the career full-time, I was already talking to my friends and prospects na sabi ko sa kanila, as soon as I got my license, I will be meeting with them. So on my first month as a financial advisor, I was already a top producer in our agency with 8 paid cases. No, sabi ko, I wanted to start my financial advisor journey with a bang. And by God's grace, I was able to do it. I was really firm sa resolve ko to succeed in the career, in the insurance business. Kasi firstly, I wanted to prove to my parents na may future sa industry natin. I wanted to prove to them that being a financial advisor is a very rewarding venture as well. And of course, I didn't want to be a walking irony, especially sa mga advisors that I used to handle as a liaison officer ng PhilAm. Kasi nung liaison officer pa ako ng PhilAm, I was the one urging them, no, yung mga advisors na yon, to qualify to the $1 Million Roundtable. And the $1 Million Roundtable, ito yung premier association ng top financial advisors worldwide. So of course, meron akong unspoken pressure, no, to really do well and to qualify to MDRT myself on my first year. I attended a lot of trainings and seminars because it was my belief what I lack in terms of age, kasi nga I started 23 years old pa lang ako, and what I lack in terms of experience, no, I can make up for it in terms of trainability and competence. Good thing din na maraming avenues for learning in our business, no, both within AIA Philippines and in our industry. There is always that emphasis for continuing education. I even enrolled myself in several courses like yung Chartered Trust and Estate Planning Program, yung Investment Management courses, para I'll be able to specialize in certain areas of financial planning like estate planning, investments, no? Kasi I wanted to really be able to give an in-depth and comprehensive financial advice to my clients. As I started embracing yung business na to, and as I grew my prospect back by talking to relatives and friends, slowly, I was able to transcend my being an introvert. So I surprised myself, no, as I started talking to a lot of people, I slowly became an ambivert, someone with a healthy balance of both introvert and extrovert features. So for people here who are introverts, don't worry. No, you might think na being in a sales profession is not for you, but I'm the living proof na pwede maging introvert and pwede mag-excel sa sales. No, slowly I was able to conquer my ego. Kanina na mention ko na one of the challenges that I faced when I was starting was that meron akong pride, no, na nilalabanan kasi not everyone was open to the idea of talking to a financial advisor. So I was able to conquer my ego by evaluating my decisions to pursue yung business na to in the first place. Una, freedom over my time. I have complete control over how I spend my time and with whom. I do not need to ask for permission to take vacations or to file for leaves, no? Freedom over income. When I started my business, I never felt underpaid. The rewards, they have always been commensurate to what I put in as effort. No? And now, I have even felt overpaid for doing what I love and what I excel at. And of course, there is freedom to do good. Some people may view our profession as undignified, but it is actually our profession that gives dignity to widows and orphans at a time when they need.
Diba? I think there is no this is one of the most unique businesses wherein you are able to do well by doing good. I attended my first MDRT annual meeting in 2014 in Toronto, Canada, and there I met top financial advisors from all over the world. No, kanina na mention ko yung MDRT, ito yung $1 Million Roundtable. No, it's an association ng mga top advisors worldwide. And there I got to hear their best practices. And these advisors, nakita ko they've been qualifiers to this association for more than 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And doon ko na-realize that if I really want to stand out sa career na to, if I really want to stand out in my business, I should make it my goal to not only be MDRT, an MDRT qualifier on my first year, but to be a consistent MDRT qualifier year in and year out. And that's how my dream of becoming a consistent MDRT qualifier began. No, so the next few slides that I'll be sharing with you, ito yung mga rewards and incentives that I've enjoyed with Film Life in the past 9 years that I've been an insurance entrepreneur under AIA Philippines. No, so we enjoyed these rewards as for our contribution sa overall growth ng company. So in these photos, you will see that we traveled around Canada, Italy, Japan, Spain. Ito naman yung mga pictures sa Alaska. The Alaskan trip was the trip incentive before the pandemic happened. No, tapos nung nagka-pandemic, syempre travel came to a halt, but Film Life found other ways to reward us for our efforts and for our contribution to overall company performance. No, before that, we also traveled around the Netherlands and around the UK. So if you love traveling and if you want to explore culture, if you want to see the world, I think this is the right place for you. This is the right business for you, because Film Life always thinks of ways to surprise us with new destinations year in and year out. And for mga middle children like me who love recognition, ito yung mga recognition programs that I've been part of the past 8 years, the past 9 years, no, that I've been with Film Life. Last year, I was fortunate, no, actually last 2020, no, during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, I was fortunate to have been featured as one of 2 Filipinos. The other one is an industry legend who has been in the business for over 60 years sa AIA Centennial Book. No, AIA is the parent company of AIA Philippines. This book commemorates yung 100-year history of our parent company. And this was in recognition of our contribution and commitment sa tradition of excellence and service of AIA. The next slide that I will be sharing with you is confidential, but I am sharing it with you to help you visualize in a concrete manner gaano ba ka-rewarding yung business na to. Gaano ba ka-rewarding yung business na to in terms of income. No? So this chart shows my total income from 2013 to 2021. And you'll notice that through the years, I was able to triple my income from the time I first started my insurance business. This is due to the fact that aside from first-year commissions, we get renewal commissions and bonuses. And slowly, you'll realize that your total income compounds as you grow your client base and as you continue to take care of more clients. Now, I am serving a total of over 500 plus clients in my 9 years. No, and more than 95% of these policies, 95% of the policies that I sold to these clients are still in force today, which I count as really one of the most important career milestones in my 9 years as an insurance entrepreneur. There are a lot of top performers in the company and all over the world, but only a few can say that they truly bring in quality business, which in my opinion, ito talaga yung best hallmark of a good financial planner, not just bringing in production, but making sure na yung policies that we sell to our clients, that are sold to our clients the right way, hindi siya naglalapse and remain in force. Kasi for me, having quality business is a testament to how well we sold to our clients. And it's a telltale sign whether an advisor is truly an advisor or simply a salesperson. And you'll be surprised also that a big chunk of our total income is derived from us taking care of existing clients. So if you take care of your existing clients and you're able to make sure that their policies do not lapse, you get rewarded for it. And I don't think I would have reached this level in my 9 years if hindi ko inalagaan yung mga kliyente ko. Here are also some of the personal trips I took with my wife and my family throughout the years that I've been an AIA Philippines advisor. Kasi hindi ko na kailangan nga mag-file ng leaves para magbakasyon. So yun, we went around South America. So we toured Peru and Bolivia. We traveled around the US. It's a very good experience not having to think about filing for leaves or not having to worry about paano yung work that's waiting for me when I go back after my leave. Kasi walang ganun because I know that I am my own boss. I have full control over my time and I can spend it with my family in whatever way I want. And before my wife and I got married, I was able to save up for our first real estate investment. So we had a place ready for us when we tied the knot. We got married last December 2015, and I was able to pay for my wedding all from my income from Film Life, from AIA Philippines. And for me, yung mga life's milestones na to are more meaningful kasi this career has been made more meaningful because of the life milestones that I've achieved as I embraced this insurance business, as I embraced being an insurance entrepreneur. We went on a 3-week honeymoon sa Morocco, and I didn't have to worry about filing for leaves or thinking if I have a job to go back to after my trip. Kasi hawak ko yung oras ko. And a few months after that, we had our second honeymoon sa Europe naman. And I think yung greatest blessing talaga of being part of this business is that because hawak ko yung oras ko, when we were able to, I was really able to spend time with my family. And shortly after we got married, 2 years after we got married, we welcomed our answered prayer, our baby, our daughter. And because of this business, I got to be present sa lahat ng milestones ng anak ko. Sinama ko siya sa mga trip incentives, sinama ko siya sa trip incentives sa Amsterdam, sila ng wife ko. And when my family decided to go on a cruise around Italy, Israel, and Greece to celebrate my dad's 70th birthday, kasama ko rin siya. Yung mga siblings ko, they had to check their schedules, make sure na maayos yung schedules nila. Pero ako, anytime, game akong maglakwatsa, game akong mag-travel. Kasi I'm my own boss, di ba? That's the advantage of being an entrepreneur. And as I mentioned, nandun ako sa lahat ng milestones ng daughter ko. And these are moments na I think hindi mo ma-rewind, di ba? Like for example, when she first learned how to walk, when she first learned how to talk, I don't think a lot of dads were there when their children, di ba, started learning how to walk, how to talk. Pero ako, nandun ako kasi hawak ko yung oras ko. My wife and I decided to move to my hometown, no, in Iloilo City, to provide a more adequate playing space for our daughter and to escape yung traffic and congestion sa Metro Manila, which we found to be unsuitable in raising our baby. We also found condo living a bit too cramped for us, especially with AIA. So we looked for a tenant for our condo and we moved to Iloilo and decided to build our own house in Iloilo City. So ito pictures from the buhos, no, or the laying ng foundation noong February 2020. We started building February 2020, so right before nag-lockdown, and we finished construction in 10 months, no, and we moved to our new home by December 2020. So this milestone wouldn't have been possible if not for the rewarding business that Film Life, that AIA Philippines has been offering me the past 9 years. But beyond the monetary rewards and yung mga trip incentives, no, beyond yung mga milestones na yun, it's also equally important for me to know na yung ginagawa ko may meaning sa buhay ng ibang tao, especially sa mga clients ko. It is one thing to join this business and to reap and enjoy yung fruits of our labor, but it is also another to stay committed sa endeavor na to for a purpose far greater than ourselves. I think ang reason why I choose to stay in this business for the long run is that I know how much of an impact yung efforts ko on the financial health and well-being of my clients. I have facilitated critical illness claims, accident claims, and death claims. And my clients are beyond grateful, and my clients and their beneficiaries, no, they're beyond grateful and for having signed up for a plan with us sa Film Life sa AIA Philippines. Yung mga plans na to, they know that these plans were able to relieve them of financial burdens when their only focus should be recovery, or when their only focus should be grief. No, and this fuels me to soldier on sa mission na to, kasi alam ko that lahat ng mga nakakausap ko, in one way or another, I make a difference in their lives. I also feel so blessed to be in a business that allows me to build communities with people from all walks of life. So ito sa dalawang photo contest ng Film Life, kasi nga yung awards namin, naging digital siya since the pandemic noong 2020. So si Film Life nag-isip siya ng pakulo for the awardees. So nagkaroon ng photo contest. Yung mga clients ko, they campaigned hard for me. So there was one client, isang business owner, nag-ano talaga siya ng memo sa kanyang mga 800 plus employees, encouraging them to like and share my photo. Tapos meron din naman isang client, food panda naman siya na delivery man. He asked the customers he delivered food items to na puntahan yung page ko sa Facebook and to like my photo. So it is really true what they say. No, we are as strong as the communities we build, and I am glad that this business has really allowed me to help build a solid circle that would last more than a lifetime sa mga tao na nakakausap ko. And yung mga tao na to, iba-iba yung backgrounds, iba-iba yung walks of life. No, so it's really so enriching. No, it's enriching in a sense that you gain a lot of friends, you gain a lot of you build a community with people from all walks of life. Some of you might think na yes, that's all. This is all well and good before COVID-19. Pero paano ngayon na nagkaroon ng pandemic? How do we operate under this new normal? No, I am happy and proud to share na our company was actually one of the first to have adapted to this new normal. No, one of the first to have adapted sa health and social crisis na to. AIA Philippines made sure na yung operations namin will continue through digital selling. So people who are in need of coverage and protection, especially during sa panahon na to, no, na may pandemic, there is a virus going around, and people feel so afraid or feel a certain sense of uncertainty. They want something to hold on to. And AIA Philippines made sure na nandyan kami to be the support for our clients in terms of insurance and protection. This move was really a game changer sa business ko. And it made me realize that I am lucky to be in a venture that is pandemic proof and that provides solid business continuity no matter the times. So even during the pandemic, I was able to excel and achieve growth sa insurance business because of the tools that AIA Philippines provided us with. Isa ako sa mga qualifiers for the 9th time, no? So 9 years na ako naging MDRT qualifier. Even during the pandemic. So 2 taon na yung pandemic, and even during the pandemic, I was able to qualify by God's grace. And I was recognized as the top advisor, no, of the AIA Philippines #1 agency for the 4th time. No, so this just goes to show na yung business natin is very resilient, and it is indeed pandemic proof. It goes without saying na with digital selling, of course, lumawak yung market namin. Naging borderless na financial advisors kami. I have been able to talk to prospects as far north as Lawag, to as down south as Cagayan de Oro and Davao, while I am staying here in Iloilo. No, of course, there is lower overhead cost. Before, we would treat clients sa coffee shop or a restaurant. Now we can meet with them and transact with them online from the comforts of our homes, no, cost-free. Dati sobrang nakaka big threat, no, sa business namin yung traffic. Kasi that's actually one of the reasons why we decided to build our house in Iloilo instead of Metro Manila, was because the traffic in Metro Manila was horrendous. And of course, napaka-toxic ng congestion na I had to endure on a daily basis, especially when I go on client calls. Pero ngayon, with this pandemic, this has rendered all our traffic woes, no, our traffic concerns a non-issue, because everyone is strongly encouraged to stay home. And kahit nasa bahay, we are able to meet with our clients. So sometimes may kausap ako from Cebu, no, sa morning, sa hapon may kausap ako from Iloilo, tapos sa gabi naman from Manila. Fourthly, to my surprise, mas mabilis na mag-approach ng mga clients because yung pandemic na to has made more people aware of the importance of having ample protection and coverage during these uncertain times. And most of our prospects are at home. So schedule-wise, easier makipag-meet with them. No, I'm not saying that the pandemic is a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a blessing. No, prayers, of course, to people who got sick because of the pandemic and to the loved ones they have lost. But for insurance entrepreneurs, this pandemic has a silver lining. And yung silver lining na to, yung business continuity and yung pagiging borderless na financial advisors. And finally, it goes without saying na with digital selling, walang cost to worry about getting infected. Kasi like for me, for example, yung mga kanina pinakita ko sa inyo, yung mga awards even during the pandemic, these awards, majority of them, no, I think out of the, like for example, last year, the 60 policies that I sold last year, majority of them, I think 90+% of them were all done via digital selling. So there's really no cost to worry about getting infected kasi nasa bahay lang lahat, and mabilis yung transactions with our clients. Even sa pag-process ng claims, online na rin, no? So yung pag-servicing, no, when we follow up with the claims ng mga clients natin, which I think is the one of the most important missions of financial advisors, na we are there every step of the way, hindi lang sa pagbebenta kundi sa aalaga ng mga kliyente natin, especially pag nag-file na sila ng claims. Ngayon online na lahat 'yun. And it really allows us to be of service to our clients 24/7. No, and even I think what makes being an insurance entrepreneur really unique is that with or without a pandemic, a successful financial advisor or a successful insurance entrepreneur yung requirements to be a successful insurance entrepreneur remains the same. And I think it is best encapsulated in these 3 C's that I will be sharing with you as my final slide before I end my sharing. Character, which means having yung integrity to be stewards of our clients' funds, because at the end of the day, trust pa rin yung pinaka-currency ng advocacy natin. And of course, character also refers to having the courage to face rejections on a daily basis. No, ako, a 9-year financial advisor, I still face rejections, and I have that courage, to face them head on and to move on to more people who need our services. And of course, character also refers to having that humility to be trainable and coachable by the people who invited us to this business. Secondly, competence. Because we are engaged in the serious business of imparting sound financial advice, it is our responsibility to our clients to make sure na we keep ourselves up to date with the latest investment and financial know-how through continuing education. And finally, commitment. The people who stay long in this career are the people who reap the greatest rewards. No, I don't think I would have been able to triple my income if after the first year pa lang or after the second year, after ilang rejections, I decided to quit. No, hindi ko na ma-achieve yung pinakita kong chart sa inyo if nag-quit ako prematurely. And I'm glad that I soldiered on in this mission, because the longer you stay in this career, in this business, the loftier the rewards that you'll be able to accomplish. It means staying on course and soldiering on sa mission na to, no matter what happens, pandemic man yan or any other unforeseen event, and being able to adapt to changes beyond our control. So I end my presentation with my favorite quote from J. Cory Hofer, which states that to be a successful financial advisor, we must have the mind of a capitalist and the heart of a social worker. So that ends my presentation, and I do hope to welcome all of you to Starbright, to AIA Philippines, and to see you in the next travel incentives of our company. So thank you, everyone.
Let's give Neil a big round of applause. Thank you, Neil, for sharing your story with us. Sobrang inspiring. No? I've always said this to you, Neil. Yeah, I've always said this to Neil, that Neil's really one of my biggest inspirations in Starbright, because it shows me what's possible in this career, not just earning the income, but even making a difference in the lives of our clients, in the lives of the people that we're supporting through our sound financial advice, diba? Ikaw, Dianne.
Yeah. What really marked for me, kasi I've always said that I wanted to be like a Tita of Rockwell. So si Neil talaga is a living, breathing proof that he's a Tito to you, meaning, you're in the place that you call to be in. You're making a difference, in people's lives, and you're making a difference in your own life with the people around you, especially your family. Sobrang idol talaga, Neil. Okay?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Neil. Again, let's give Neil a round of applause. Thank you for saying yes to this and sharing your story to our participants, and of course to us in Starbright. It's always very refreshing to hear your story. Ayan. So in a moment, what's gonna happen, guys, is that we will be breaking you out into groups again. So